everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Review Show. I'm your host, Chris. Joining me today is my co-host, Bre. We're here
Hello.
to talk some Game of Thrones. We are
Or
missing,
boo.
we are missing Kelsey, Cody. Maybe they got taken out. Who knows? But we're here.
Too many people mad from last episode. They're very disappointed in how they treated Daenerys Targaryen, so they're rioting right now.
True. Maybe. I have no idea. So I guess we might as well go ahead and jump into the biggest elephant in the room, which is how sexy did Jon look? Oh my god. Let's get it. Anyways, Daenerys, even though the bells of "we're done" ring, she still decided to overcook them.
Murder thousands and thousands of innocent children, woman, man
Woman,
alike,
women.
famine.
Yeah, not a good look for her. Not a good look for her. I don't know. I
Really? That's not a good look for her, you think?
I I mean, obviously she's not my favorite character, and I feel like I saw this coming since the end of the last season. But um I don't know. I just didn't agree with the after episode analysis with them being like she just keeps staring at the red keep and it's like this is what my parents built. This is what my parents built. Like in my mind as a rational person, I guess. I mean, I guess she was not in a rational headspace, I don't know. But I just feel like anybody sitting there would have looked at that and been like this is my family built this. This is for me. I'm just going to burn it all to the ground. Like that just
I think
doesn't make
maybe
sense to
what
me.
you're kind of getting at is like, this is what she's, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is what she's been working for season after season after season after season. Like, that is her end goal. The people she has harmed has been bad people. While, yes, that is a hint of craziness, like the way she did it, she didn't have to do it the way she did. Uh, see the correlation there. But I think the fact that she'd been pushing it for that for so long, to see her tear down what she'd been fighting for so long, insanely crazy all of a sudden,
No.
or a total person that hates people in psychopath, I guess is, oh, socio-psycho, I don't know which is the right word, but
No, neither one of those. My main point is to look at the red
but
keep.
no, neither one of those are wrong or
Neither
right
one
or
of those
what.
were what I was talking about. And looking at the red keep, it's not like a couple of bricks thrown together to make a castle. Like this thing's pretty fucking elegant. Like a lot of work from your family for generations went in to make this amazing fucking castle. You literally just heard the bells ring saying you won, it is now yours, but you're just going to burn it all to the ground just because you're upset? I just don't see how that thought comes across.
Well, I think what I said makes sense
Well, you
too,
were
though,
talking
because
about
she's
her goal, her goal. I'm not. I'm specifically putting her goal aside. I'm just talking specifically about the castle, the structure itself.
right.
Like to
But we're
because I'm. She did more than just that. She lit the fucking streets on fire and murdered thousands of people. I'm specifically just saying one of the main things that the directors and the writers pointed at after the end of the show was like the castle, the castle. Her family built the castle, and it's like if you emphasize that much on it, it doesn't make sense in my opinion for their plot of why she decided that she was just gonna fucking flip the switch and light everybody on fire.
well, they're saying they're well. Wait, you can't look at it, something like this as logical. What she did was not logical. It was absolutely emotional, responsive, and anger towards Cersei. But
I get that, but it doesn't make
I feel like
sense.
that would have made more sense if Cersei cared about her people. Because Daenerys, in my opinion, is smart enough to know what would hurt Cersei. She wouldn't want to hurt, or like she built for her, wouldn't want to hurt innocent people unless at some point she goes a little crazy. Then it would be she wants to hurt Cersei, not just randomly hurt people. It's not been shown in her character. Whenever she's hurt someone substantially, it's been for power because they were bad people and they did horrible things. So to see her decide that she's just going to hurt innocent people that she knows Cersei does not care about makes no sense.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm not talking about the people. I'm specifically just talking about the keep because they strongly
I
kept
know.
talking about the keep at the end of the episode. So I'm trying to figure out why they kept talking about the keep at the end of the episode. They kept talking about it. And every time they brought it up, the directors or the writers, it made zero sense to the point that on why she turned. The only scenario where it literally makes sense that she would burn down the castle is that the fucking bells never ring and Cersei just absolutely is like, I'm not giving up and is just staying in the keep. Then yeah, burn the fucking thing down, get it the fuck out, kill her, you're done with it. But that made literally no sense for her to destroy this gigantic castle. I mean, because she has nothing now. Everything she fought for is gone. All the people to rule the Iron Throne, the beloved land of fucking King's Landing, like that's all gone. Everything that she worked for her entire arc is gone. That makes
Yes.
it just doesn't make any sense. It physically doesn't make any sense. Once again,
Right. I think we're
I saw
talking the
her.
same thing, just different ways of saying it.
Well, my main point that I kept trying to get to was just that there's only one scenario that makes sense for her to do that. So it just physically doesn't make sense that she did it at all. The only scenario that makes sense is that if Cersei did not surrender, if Cersei stayed inside the keep and just did not surrender, that's the only way.
I
All
disagree.
how do you disagree with that?
The other scenario that would have made I think the only scenario that would have made sense was if Cersei cared about the people.
What would that change though?
Well, as in, oh, but you're just talking about specifically the Red Keep, like the
Correct.
her destroying the
To destroy
building.
the actual building. I'm not talking about anything else besides that.
But that
Her
I feel
family
is
didn't go out.
more likely than her killing a bunch of innocent people.
I mean, maybe, but that's I'm not talking about the likely to less likely part. I'm talking about the fact that her family didn't go out and build that town. All the houses around it, they didn't go out and do that for all the fucking people. They literally just built the keep. I mean, that is like a claim for the Targaryens. They built the throne, they built the keep. This is theirs. To just tear all that down for what? There's not an answer. You could say emotional, running over, da da da, but none of that makes sense for her overall character arc whenever her quest has been, I will sit on that seat at the end. There's nothing there to sit anymore. And I'm not even just talking about the throne. The keep itself was built by the Targaryens. King's Landing was built by the Targaryens. Like,
I think the point was is that she got so crazy that she didn't care. It wasn't about the end goal anymore. It was about so even if she was that's how crazy she was. She was destroying something she'd worked so hard to get because basically her rule, her life is falling apart. What does it matter about the end goal anyways when she probably won't be queen? I'm
maybe.
guessing that's
I don't
kind
know.
of like the symbolism behind it. I feel like her destroying that makes more sense than because she's getting at Cersei, she's trying to get Cersei, or she really wants to destroy what Cersei loves so much. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe she want to destroy what Cersei loves so much. Like I've been saying though, I think the least likely part of what happened is her killing thousands of innocent children and people unless unless Cersei cared about her people and that was to get back at Cersei. In my mind, Daenerys has not shown the will towards people who, in her mind, are innocent.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I guess I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. The entire thing just doesn't make sense to me at all. So, I mean, not that I'm a big Danny fan, that I really care. I honestly don't. Like I said, I mean, I felt like she was turning a villain at the end of the last season. I like I said, it basically at this point, I feel like her entire character arc was literally nothing. Like there was no point in even having her in the show. There physically wasn't. Like if you go back and look, we could have took her out of the show. John could have led these armies into the fucking keep to fight Cersei, get Cersei to surrender, and then fucking take over the throne. This all could have happened without her, and that makes that's kind of upsetting because there was huge portions of the show that were centered around her that I had to sit there and watch all for nothing, literally nothing at the end. Like the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest thing with her now at this point is the fact that what's John gonna do? She has a dragon now. Like what's Drogon gonna do? Basically at this point is what everybody's gonna have to wait to see what's gonna happen. Is he gonna be loyal to Daenerys, or is
Right.
he going to be loyal to John? Like how's that gonna work?
And let's think about all the major things that are probably going to happen this season. Like, they White Walker King in one episode. They beat Cersei episode.
Actually, before you go on, I do want to extend on that because we didn't do this during that episode. Another reason why that battle was fucking terrible, in my opinion, the battle on Winterfell. Not only did the Night King not do anything, and they beat him in one episode, none of his generals did anything either. Not a
They just
single
stood
one of them.
there.
They just stood there the entire episode. Like, that's terrible. That is terrible. I was talking to Tony and them last night, and I think it was Tony. It might have been Mike. I don't know. But one of them brought up a really cool scenario, which would have been more along the lines of all the main characters having to take on a general, and then Jon having to take on the Night King. And then, like, that's how they beat the armies, was that you had to kill all the generals, and then it was just down to the Night King. So, like, you would kill a general, and, like, half the fucking population of the White Walkers would just die. And then it would have made those scenes where like Sam's getting overrun and then someone kills a general and then all of a sudden the White Walkers just die around him. Would have been so much cooler than Sam getting overrun by like 8 White Walkers and Brianna Tarth walking over there and swinging her sword once and knocking fucking 8 White Walkers completely off of him. Then her getting grabbed and then Jamie doing the same thing. Then Jamie getting grabbed and so on doing the same thing and so forth, so forth, so forth all the way through. That would have made way more sense and would have looked better. And then while Jon Snow and Night King are fighting, he's about to kill Jon, and then Arya jumps out and fucking kills him. That would have been so much better. So much better.
Yeah, it's very surprising that none of the generals did anything.
Nothing at
Like
all.
we've not seen anything from them, and they look pretty similar to the King Walker, who's obviously very badass. He took out one dragon.
I mean, that's all he did, so I don't know if he's that much of a badass. That's all he did. Maybe it was a lucky
Right.
fucking shot.
Well, supposedly it was pretty badass. You would think that his generals would have contributed something. But I think, again, going back around to what I was talking about, is that they're squeezing so much big things into this season that it's very overwhelming for people and people can't handle it and it feels like a huge change. Daenerys' personality change was huge. Whether or not there were signs, her killing thousands and thousands of innocent people, signs. It was her maybe going power hungry, crazy, and may have not been right when it came to bad people, but she always had a logical reason behind what she was doing. And Tony, go ahead, call me stupid if you're watching. Like there's that, and then there was the White Walker fight. That was one episode, and then there was the Cersei fight. That was one episode. Daenerys versus Jon, which is going to be one episode. These are huge things, and then the way Jaime Lannister's personality changed, all very huge things, and you kind of wonder if it's because they don't have the story written out for them.
I don't know. I mean, it just sucks because it easily turned into one of those shows, and like you kind of hate to see it whenever it happens, but sometimes it happens where they ran out of source material to go off of, and they took their own route. And I mean, I got to be honest. Like Game of Thrones is easily one of the best TV shows in my opinion, and it's not. It does not hold that title anymore after this season. This season's kind of been a little bit of a letdown, and it's very unfortunate because it is the last season, and we only had 6 episodes. This season has been pretty big letdown.
I wonder if they went to the author and had him review review it at all.
No, they had already said because they were going to pass up the source material that they were going to get to the end. They knew what the end was. They were just going to go a different route. And then they've had full control of it since then. Apparently, whenever I was talking to Mike and them last night, I think Mike was the one that looked it up, but found out that they had the option to have a 10 season episode, and they chose not to do that. They said that they could get it done in 6. So I don't know why the fuck we did that. We obviously.
I know there's a worry about like going on too long, and then people lose interest or think that it's not a good show anymore. But they should have realized with that big of events happening that was not going to be good in one season.
No. Nope. The whole Battle of Winterfell should have been its own fucking thing, in my opinion. Its own season, pretty much.
I don't know if it needed to be a whole season.
Well, it should have been like the season ender. Like that should have been what was over
right.
And done with, and it should have, in my opinion, spread over like 3 episodes.
Each thing that happened, like the Walkers could have been a season, and then the fighting Cersei and Daenerys and Jon maybe fighting each other could have been another. I feel like those two should have been separate. Justice to the White Walker fight scene.
Yeah. I don't know. It was weird.
Justice to Daenerys' change, because they said that they were trying to, give you, so you didn't quite notice it. There should have been more. It should have been like a gradual, stronger signal, stronger signal, stronger signal, like in the killing aspect, not the crazy-eyed look that she'd been giving a few times.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I felt that she was going to turn. I mean, sure, I can give to you on the whole like killing all the thousands of people, but I mean,
Right.
I guess the same argument can be made is that her crazy aspect comes from the side of wanting the throne, and that she'll do nothing. No, she'll stop at nothing to get it. I think is what everybody's been trying to point out.
Can't
As
say
far as
that
like
for
how,
that instance though.
how
She had it. She had it at that point.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it officially was hers. That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, and that was my main argument to begin with was the fact that the bell's already rung. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I saw it coming, but at the same time, I don't know. Like I said, it also, in my opinion, doesn't make too much sense either. But once again, I'm not a Daenerys fan, so I'm not too overly hurt about it.
I will say that I thought the episode was still good. I liked the episode.
Yeah,
Oh, I have a very strong fandom for Daenerys. I don't like where they made her go, but I can sit back objectively and go, wrong if they were going to make her go crazy, but I can accept that they did it in a way that I could see happening. Like, I feel like if they just added a little bit more, it would have been a better personality change, but I don't hate the way they went with it. I think that it creates a good story. It is a possibility with the fact that her father was the Mad King, and she had done certain things that showed she was power hungry and did not fully care for life. Like when she burned all those, what are they called? When she was the Khaleesi and she burned all those
the slavers and shit.
Khal Drago. It was like Khal Drago, but it was the rest of them.
I don't know.
She was in a hut with all the
I
I
literally,
don't
I'm
know what
not
they're
gonna be
called,
able to tell you.
kings. She
You,
was in the hut with all the kings, and she knocked the fire over, and it burned all of them alive in the hut.
yeah, I'm not gonna be able to. Once again, I do not like Daenerys. Like watching some of her arcs were like terrible for me. She was easily like the most boring arcs to watch in my opinion. So especially her
But
older
anyway,
stuff.
she did that, and that was extremely ruthless, honestly. To burn people alive is not a very nice way to die out of all the options.
Well, she's been doing that shit left and right.
Two people alive who would not kneel to her.
She lit
It's
that
not the
witch on
most
fire.
way to kill people. People would say it'd probably be better to cut people's heads off. It's a very painful way to die. So I can kind of see where that would imply she'd be slightly crazy and not value human life. But at the same time, you're sitting there thinking she's Daenerys Targaryen. She things with dragons. They use the dragons. I could see why that would be a sense of justice for the Targaryens.
Maybe I don't know. But anyways, enough of the Daenerys Targaryen show. On to other fucking people, because there were other people there. So, I mean, the Arya aspect of that was really, really cool. I liked, and I agree with what the director said on what they were trying to do there. I felt like they accomplished that was like letting you see the chaos of the battlefield from someone who literally was trying to get out without dying and just
I
following that
like that.
character all the way through, which was pretty cool. There is like this whole thing where a lot of people think it's foreshadow that Arya is going to kill Dany because
That
of her
would
getting on
cause so much uproar, though, if
because of
she did
her
that
getting
too.
on the horse because it's the pale horse from the ashes and everybody knows that is like death rides upon the pale horse. And so her riding the pale horse out of the city, everybody thinks that that's supposed to be like a foreshadow that she's gonna kill Daenerys.
She kills Daenerys. Like, everyone is gonna go crazy.
I don't know. I don't know if people would go that crazy over Dany dying by Arya as they would Cersei. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just it feels like at this point, like whenever Cersei was still alive, there was a really good reason why a lot of people felt that if she was gonna die, she should have got a little bit of Dracarys. Like a lot, there was a lot of reasons why. There's really not a lot of reasons why Jon should kill Dany. I mean, yeah, he doesn't like what just happened, and obviously they're gonna have a huge issue. But like Sansa and Dany have just been back and forth for fucking ever. And then it wasn't that long after that that then Arya was not liking Dany either, and they stopped Jon at the Godswood and told him that.
But
So
John's gonna turn on Dany for sure, though.
I mean, he is, but at the same time, it's like
There's no coming back for Daenerys in this
yeah,
situation.
I don't agree or I don't disagree with that. I just I don't see John's character just being okay with slaying Dany. Like I don't see how that's going to smooth over that well. I see a lot more easier of like Arya being the one to have to take her out because Arya is just this stone cold fucking killer at this point. But I don't know.
I just don't know. I'm curious about what the whole Drogon thing's gonna happen. Like, because he has had some sort of relationship with Drogon, and wait, he still has. Does he still? No, Regal died.
Regal's dead.
Drogon going to him. What if they both die?
Well,
Actually,
I mean, it's one of those. I mean, that could happen
he
too.
eats him when he attacks if he attacks Daenerys.
I don't know. I just don't see Drogon turning on either one of them because they're both Targaryen. And I feel like the dragons have a bond with the Targaryen blood, so they know that. And I mean, even if Drogon goes to fire him, like fucking, nothing's gonna happen. Jon's not gonna die by fire because he's
Well,
Targaryen.
we've never seen the dragons try to light them on fire, but yes.
I'm gonna take a wild guess because Daenerys was able to do what she did with fire. I'm gonna guess that Jon can do that as well. So.
So we may see it naked Jon. Is that what you're telling me?
No, maybe who knows? But yeah, I'm just I don't know. I don't know. But I really enjoyed the scene of where she started to light everybody on fire and then Grey Worm threw that first javelin. Just to look
That
at
was
Jon's face, the emotion of like I can't believe this is what's happening. Like this isn't what we're here for. And then to see his own men running in and killing kids and killing women and killing men, and then that one guy I guess was gonna rape that girl, and like him putting a stop to that, just like man, like oh
And I mean, you see your leader do something like that, and you feel it's open season.
yeah, that was rough for
That
Jon for sure. But
Do you think that it was in Grey Worm's personality? Like, do you think it's as stark as a contrast for Daenerys to turn as Grey Worm turning? Do you think his was a big difference, or do you think that made
no,
sense?
that makes sense to me. I mean, he's pretty much whatever Danny does, he's going to do, and the fact that they killed Masande, like
Yeah.
that I could see happening. Like yeah. I don't think Grey Worm and Jon ever got along to begin with in the first place, so him like taking orders from Jon wasn't going to be something that was going to happen either. So, I mean, Grey Worm was pretty high up in the ranks, and he got there on his own. So having Jon come in literally out of nowhere, and it's like Jon's commanding the armies, Grey Worm's not going to fucking care. So, yeah, it's more of whatever she's going to do, I'm going to do type deal. So, yeah, no, that was just, in my opinion, that was such a powerful scene for Jon and just like a holy shit, like and especially to happen right after him and Varys had that conversation too. It's like damn. So.
And I'm sure Tyrion very much so regrets snitch on.
Possibly, but at the same time, I mean that
I
might
can't remember
be
his name.
Varys. That's what I was just talking about. That told Jon the whole thing too, but I don't know. That might be his only saving card because she didn't get to kill Cersei. So if they start off, which that's how the next episode looked like, her walking out and the armies are waiting for her to, address them. Like if she starts out with, "Well, I didn't get to kill that Lannister, so bring me the other one," and she talks about Jaime, and Jaime's not there because Tyrion set him free. Yeah.
True. Yeah, he might be in trouble because
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that might
she
be his
didn't.
saving
She didn't
grace.
find Cersei. They may find Cersei and need to dig them out. But
I mean, they're not gonna do that.
that whole scene with Jamie and the
You're
king
on.
Euron. That whole scene with Jamie and Euron was kind of weird.
Yeah,
Really odd to
I,
me.
I didn't feel like that was a scene that needed to be added. It was what it was. I mean, I can't remember who else I was talking to, but they were like, just so happens he happened to swim up at the exact time that fucking Jamie's walking down there. Man, dude, fucking plot. Uh, yeah. Like I said, that was a scene that, in my
Then they
opinion, didn't
both
need to happen.
damage each other. One of them dies. He's like, I got the Kingslayer.
Yeah, well, you pretty much added another one to
Didn't
his
even
belt.
die to his wounds.
Oh well, like I said, that scene I didn't. Another scene that I had an issue about was like, and the directors definitely said that they did this on purpose, but the whole like apocalyptic lighting that was going on for the Hound versus the Mountain battle. Like, yes, we needed that battle. It's a battle that's been building for a very long time. This whole aspect of it being like this crazy fucking apocalyptic battle, I completely disagree with. I don't think that they're that fucking important of characters for it to be considered apocalyptic. And then this fucking lighting that was going on looked terrible. It looked terrible to me, but
I thought the lighting was fine. I think the battle was kind of a good little wrap up to their fight. Crazy how much he was living through everything. But I like how the directors also said that they wanted him to die by fire because that's been his biggest fear.
yeah,
The only acceptable way for him to kill his brother was by fire because of
yep.
what he did to him. So I liked the story. I liked the idea. Maybe the setting could have been a little bit better, but I thought it was good. So I think maybe people may have different opinions on that one.
Probably, but I mean, the only good part of the fight that I liked is whenever he was like choking him and he's fucking stabbed him in like 12 different places and he's just like, fucking die. And then he just started laughing because he just knew. He's like, well, I mean, what the fuck am I supposed to do against this? Like, this dude literally
Yeah,
living through everything. So that was pretty interesting way of looking at that.
one
But
ugly motherfucker.
yeah, I finally got my moment where I got to see him completely helmet off and fucking what he had been looking like underneath that fucking suit. So that was pretty interesting. It's a big boy.
Oh, and the part where he literally, when his brother came up, he literally killed the
Oh, the
priest guy,
maester. Yeah, the maester.
the maester. He was just dead against the rock and done.
Yep.
It was over with. So she's just like, excuse me, while I just walk on out of here.
That was pretty much his way of saying to Cersei, like, I'm taking care of this. This is happening. You can stay or you can leave. Your choice, but I'm taking care of this. Yeah. That was kind of crazy. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's out of the range of his character, but it was pretty
Yeah, see,
fucking like I didn't see that
that
happening.
made sense. That made sense for his character, even though he had been so loyal to Cersei. It made sense because one, he's a very bad person. Brother and him have had this conflict for like ever. It made sense for his character to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how things are gonna go down. If we're gonna go back to Winterfell and see how things are happening with Sansa, her getting word of all this shit or anything like that, that's gonna come into play, or if it's literally just gonna be like the last episode's literally just gonna take place in King's Landing with the people who are there on the ground now, which probably more what's gonna actually happen, but just have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I wasn't surprised too much by anything else in the episode. I saw Drogon going through and tearing down all the defenses, and her not being able to do anything to stop the dragon. I saw that going to happen because I just feel like the dragon's going to play a bigger part in this last episode than he would have the episode before. Like I said, don't know what's going to happen with Tyrion yet. That's going to be interesting. And not to mention, I mean, Dany talks about the fact that she has no love here, but like I can't imagine this scene that's about to happen go down the way it's going to, and like Grey Worm not interfering at some point. Grey Worm's just not gonna let Jon come in and fucking kill Dany, or Arya come in and fucking kill Dany either.
Well, that's why I think that even though I don't want it to be, I really don't think that Arya should kill King and Daenerys. It's gonna have to happen because I don't see how But I mean, John gets pretty close to Danny too, so
I don't know.
chance.
Don't know. But either way, I'm getting close to wrapping this up here because there really wasn't too much more to talk about. I mean, mainly all of it was just watching her fly back and forth, burning people alive, and watching Arya run down a shit ton of different fucking hallways. Other than that, that was pretty much the episode.
Her character took that turn. Very sad.
Fair enough, fair enough. So, overall rating for this episode.
What did I rate the White Walker fight?
I have no idea. You gave it a 10. Which I'm pretty sure you're probably the only person in the entire fucking world that gave it a 10.
I think that this one was. I have to give it an 8 because I was very upset what they did with Danny's character. In the sense of the build up.
Yeah. I gave it a 7. It was okay. Like I said, the John moments were pretty powerful to me. I liked the Arya moment. I didn't care for the Hound in the mountain fight because the whole lighting, that just kind of took me out of the thing. I'm completely upset that Cersei didn't get decapitated gruesomely. And
I think Cersei's way of dying was a little bit of a letdown because everyone really wanted
they blue balled the shit out of
vengeance
us.
for how much she's done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that was like one of the biggest letdowns is that it's like she didn't even get to die alone and scared. Like she was literally calmed down by Jaime and everything. Like it just, which also turns that whole like Jaime, like getting it with Brienne, completely unnecessary. Like the entire thing was completely unnecessary. There was literally no point in it.
Right.
Absolutely zero.
It was
point
a very disappointing change in character. I think I discussed this last one where I felt like it felt like, hey, I'm really into you, and then he fucked her, and then he was over her.
Yeah.
That's basically what it felt like.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I think that at least the author of Game of Thrones now knows what to not do.
I guess. Yeah, so if it seems like we didn't really have too much to talk about on this one, it's just like I said. I mean, for me, this season was a letdown. This was a pretty big letdown season in my opinion. This has nothing to do with the Daenerys change. I want people literally be like, "Oh my God, Chris just mad because Daenerys." No, I don't care about Daenerys.
I mean, this is saying a lot. This is saying a lot when you say it's a letdown because your Jon Snow has the potential to be the last person surviving. For essentially,
sure. There's just a lot of things that I feel like they did terrible, and I don't know why they did it that way. So, but it's like everybody says, usually whenever you don't have the source material and you just go on the fly, it's just not, because everybody basically at this point is like, I really don't even care to see the last episode. I'm just excited for the next book to see, what actually happens between the Night King and the Battle of Winterfell, because it's going to be way more fleshed out, and it's probably going to be Jon that kills him in the book. So, yeah.
Even if it's not, I think that it will be
more fleshed out. It will probably be better. The generals probably won't be standing around with their fucking frost sticks in their hands, not doing anything.
Yeah, like I said, the biggest mistake they made was not spreading out the 3 major things that have happened.
True. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. So if you enjoyed this content, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, turn on those notifications so that way you get notified every time we upload another episode. Hit us in the comment section below. Give us your rating for this episode. What was your favorite parts of the episode? What were your not so favorite parts of the episode? What do you think about some of these character changes? But also, if you want a more direct form of communication, you can hit us up on those Twitter links, or you can come by and watch us play some video games and stream and stuff like that on those Twitch links down there as well. But at the end of all this, hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We will see you next time.